It's officially Throwback Week in the NASCAR world, and today we're going to be looking at all those dazzling paint schemes set to hit the track Sunday night. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to a very special episode of Out of the Groove. It's that time of year again. Throwback Week is upon us. Everyone's getting with the theming this year, and so today we're going to look at all of the throwback schemes that have been revealed. The vast majority have, but there's a few teams that haven't said anything about their throwback schemes, or maybe lack thereof. But we're going to go through today one by one and look at all of the throwback schemes set to debut at this year's Southern 500. And I'm excited. Heck, I'm even in the spirit as well. Like, I got my Mark Martin throwback shirt. Look at the car. Oh my God. Beautiful. I don't know what the theme is for this year's Southern 500. Every year there's technically a throwback theme, but nobody really follows it. I don't know what this year's is, but anyway, let's just dive right in and take a look at these beauties. At the end of the video, I'll tell you guys my favorites and I'll tell you guys the ones I don't like, but you'll probably be able to guess how that's going to end as we go through here. Now, full disclosure, I have seen already probably, I actually don't know, I've probably seen half of them already, maybe more, maybe less, give or take, but there's a few of these I know I have not seen that I don't even know if have been announced yet. So I'm just going to go online and see how many I can find. And some of these I'll be seeing for the first time. So let's jump right in. And we're already off to a fantastic start. Kevin Harvick running a Busch throwback. This is a throwback to the old Busch beer logo back when they were it was called the NASCAR Busch series. This is fantastic. Busch beer consistently has some of the best and most creative paint schemes in NASCAR. And this one is absolutely no different. Look, they even have the Busch series logo on the back bumper there. This thing's beautiful. It also looks beautiful. It's just Busch beer, man. They are on it with their paint schemes. This year, every year. They're always on it. Already off to a fantastic start. Let's see his teammates next. Eric Almirola. This looks fantastic as well with the Go Bowling, the red and white. I love it. I love it when throwback schemes change the font to closely match the scheme they're actually throwing it back to. And some of the ones I've seen, it's pretty common this year, so I love that. This is a throwback to Fireball Roberts. Absolutely outstanding. Yeah, and they even got the paint scheme, at least from the photo they have here, it looks like they got the paint scheme pretty accurate. That looks good. Looks very retro. Love it. Off to a pretty good start so far. I'm looking for the first miss, and we're not missing. I mean, this is beautiful. Denny Hamlin throwing it back to the old FedEx days, the Federal Express days. Another case where they're changing the font. I don't even know, what's this a throwback to? It's just a throwback to the sponsor, right? Hamlin says it's a throwback to Cale Yarborough. I guess the number of font on the side, I guess, sort of gives that away. I don't really recognize the paint scheme. Of course, he didn't have purple colors on the car. But yeah, 1973 was apparently the start of FedEx when it was called Federal Express. And that was also the year Cale Yarborough won the Southern 500 at Darlington in the 11 car. So actually, when I look at it that way, theming on this is pretty darn good, and the paint scheme looks sharp, and I like the throwback FedEx logo. Much like Busch Beer, FedEx has historically been really creative with their paint schemes. They've let Hamlin run some pretty fun ones, especially for the throwback race the last couple of years. So honestly, this one looks great. I like this. Ryan Blaney, ooh, okay. This is giving me like 90s vibes, sort of. Who is this a throwback to? To Paul Menard? When did Paul Menard drive this car? Hold on. Oh, I guess I have seen this one before. This is the scheme that Menard won his first ever ARCA race with. I mean, Menard's is the sponsor. I guess it makes sense. I mean, you know, Paul Menard, is that really the first guy we think of when we talk about honoring, you know, past superstars of the sport? Probably not. But hey, his family's paying the bills to keep this team funded. They can run whatever paint scheme they damn well please. And honestly, this one looks amazing. It looks great on the modern Ford Mustang Gen 6 body. I love it. Man, we're off to a fantastic start. Last few years we've had some duds. I'm not seeing any duds right now. Oh, Martin Truex Jr. throwing it back to a classic Bass Pro Shops paint scheme. Yeah, one of the earliest Bass Pro schemes. This was driven specifically by Hank Parker Jr., not a name I've heard in a while. Normally I'm not a huge fan when sponsors just throw it back to themselves. I like it when drivers throw it back to either maybe one of their own old paint schemes or throw it back to a classic paint scheme driven by a historical NASCAR figure. Those are a little bit more fun to me, especially when the colors match, which often they don't. But in this case, we've had a few this year already where it's kind of the sponsor, like FedEx throwing it back to themselves or Busch Beer throwing it back to themselves. In this case, Bass Pro Shops. And they all work. They really work. They all look so good, man. The world was once a prettier place, I feel like, when all these logos and paint schemes were on the track. I want to go back to that time. Joey Logano with the Bobby Allison throwback looks pretty good. I like it's kind of like a star design on the side. Very much, very accurate to the Bobby Allison paint scheme he's throwing it back to. A pretty solid one here. I like this. The Shell Pennzoil throwbacks have been pretty good in recent years. Was it last year he threw it back to Harvick's 07 Daytona 500 win paint scheme? That was cool as well. So Shell Pennzoil, of course, has a deep history in NASCAR, and I like this red and white. It looks good. The yellow throws it off a little bit here because I don't remember Bobby Allison's car having much yellow on it, but the red and white and the star on the side, beautiful. Very nicely done. Gosh, is this really going to be the best year for NASCAR throwback? Oh my, Ross Chastain! Dirty Mo Media on the side, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s podcast network. Oh, with the Dale Earnhardt throwback, the gold number on the side, the font. They changed the font. Wow. Throwing it back to one of Dale Sr.'s earliest paint schemes. And he even drove it. I think he drove the 77 with this scheme. Like, what? That is too clean. That is too beautiful. And the fact that Dale Jr. himself is sponsoring it, I guess, that's... Oh... Are all these just gonna knock me out of my chair? I am serious. We are on a heck of a roll right now. And there it went. I'm sorry, Daniel Suarez fans, but what really? I mean, it's nice to have the Eris colors back. I guess this is a throwback to what? His Xfinity championship, if I had to guess. Yeah. Throws it back to 2016. Oh, 4 years ago. My goodness. I mean, it looks fine. It looks good. Honestly, I see it and I think Carl Edwards before I think Daniel Suarez. Not gonna lie. I mean, not bad. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, hey, he did win an Xfinity championship in this car. It could be a lot worse. Well, we were bound to have one dud in there. All right, Christopher Bell. He's also throwing it back to himself. Guys, these guys are like, Christopher Bell's a rookie. He's a rookie running a throwback scheme to himself? I mean, it looks okay. Throws back to his Truck Series championship year with KBM. I mean, it looks fine. Christopher Bell, what has he done? He doesn't even have a win. He missed the playoffs. Why is he getting to throw it back to himself? What has he done in the Cup Series? I get it. He's a Truck Series throwback scheme. All right, okay. Well, we were on such a good roll to start with. These last two have got me literally scratching my head a little bit on it, but all right, well, let's move on. Let's try to keep the good vibes. All right, this isn't too bad. Cole Custer throwing it back to Curtis Turner, of course. NASCAR Hall of Famer, won the Southern 500 way back in the day. This looks cool. Another case where they changed the font to match the 41 that Curtis Turner drove. So that's pretty cool. Respect to them for that one. Oh my goodness. Oh my, what is going on here? Kenny Irwin throwback from J.J. Yaley and Rick Ware. Oh my, this thing just screams 90s. I mean, I think this paint scheme was run, in like the late 90s, right? And I mean, they got the reference photo right there, Nerf on the hood. I mean, hey, it's Nerf or nothing. They went all in on this throwback. Wow. That is, we've seen some small teams try bold throwbacks in recent years, and some of them have worked, some of them have been pretty awful. I love this. Wow. This is fantastic. Good job. I don't know if this wins, but this is going to be up there. This is going to be close. All right, we're back on track. Eric Jones throwback. What is this a throwback to? I mean, it looks cool. Sport clips. I like like spikes, flames almost on the side, kind of. What is this a throwback to? Tony Stewart? What? This is the car that... Oh, no, what? I'm not a big Tony Stewart guy, but is there any sort of historical significance to this paint scheme specifically? I mean, it looks cool. The original scheme looks cool. The Eric Jones one, I mean, looks fine, but the colors don't even match. And if you're going to throw it back to a Tony Stewart car, it has to be orange. I'm sorry, you can't make a red Tony Stewart car. I'm sorry. This one doesn't do it for me. I mean, it looks good. It does look good. The silver and red, I'm sure when we look at it beyond just this rendering, I'm sure it's going to look good. But of all Tony Stewart schemes, if you're going to throw it back to a Tony Stewart number 20 scheme, why this one? And again, the red, you can't replace the orange with red and call it a Tony Stewart throwback. I'm sorry, Joe Gibbs. All right, Quinn Houff. We had Quinn Houff on the show earlier this week, and he showed off this throwback paint scheme. I like the story behind it. Of course, Permatex was involved in NASCAR at the very beginning, and this is kind of a throwback to their roots, their early involvement in the sport, helping build race cars using Permatex parts. Quinn Houff kind of told some of the story this week, so this looks cool. I love that there's like a mural on the side, and I like the historical significance of it. And they changed the font to kind of match the era. I like it. Brad Keselowski. Ooh, this looks good. Again, can this just be the discount tire car from now on, like forever? Because I like this. This is a throwback to his own scheme, I believe, right? Yes, specifically to his 2010 Xfinity Series championship car. I liked it then. I like it now. This looks really good. Ooh, baby. Yeah, Richard Childress Racing, especially with the 3 car. Their throwbacks are usually pretty great. This is another good one. Throwback to Junior Johnson. I like it a lot. Again, they changed the font. I like how they did the sponsors on the hood to kind of match the way sponsors were on the hood back in the day. This card screams vintage NASCAR. When I think NASCAR throwback, I think of something like this. I like it. I mean, it's kind of bland, it's kind of simple, but I like the stripe in the middle, and I like the dedication to it. I like that they committed. They went all in. Ryan Newman. Ooh! Oh my God. Oscar Mayer has some great paint schemes, but holy cow, this one's great. What is this a throwback to? Oh, okay, Newman's throwing it back to himself. His old 1999 USAC championship season. Goodness me, that paint scheme I'm sure looked very different on one of those cars than it did on this car, but I like it. Oh, they have a video. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, they got the colors exactly right. Oh my goodness. Newman's been around a while. Give the man an opportunity to throw it back to himself, especially, a championship season that he had back in the day before his NASCAR years. This car looks good. Orange and blue match Oscar Mayer pretty well also. So yeah, this one, round of applause. Wow, came out of nowhere, snuck up on me. I hope I'm not overselling it, but this year's schemes, oh my gosh, this year's schemes are so good. This might be the best year of throwback schemes now in the few years they've been doing this collectively. This is fantastic. There have been very few duds on this list. Kyle Petty throwback. Again, they changed the font. I love it. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, all of the teams, all the sponsors, everyone who allowed them to change all the fonts this year. That's making it for me. Look at this. Beautiful. I'm stoked to see this with the pink stripe on the side. Classic Kyle Petty look. Oh my goodness. Whoa, this one's a little bit of an eyesore. A little bit. I'm also looking into the light right now, so that's making why I'm squinting. But whoa, this one's a little bright. This thing's pretty bright. Tyler Reddick throwing it back to Jeff Burton, an old Jeff Burton scheme. I mean, I'm kind of comparing the two. I'm looking at the two right now. Like, they matched it pretty well. So credit to them for that. I like RCR throwing it back to one of their guys, Jeff Burton, who spent a lot of years with RCR, and I mean, I like it. It's, again, they changed the number font, I just noticed. Good job. I think they changed it. Actually, I can't tell. Cat Power. I love it. This thing's a little wild. This is a little much for me. It's a little... it looks kind of Toy Story to me, honestly. But I can look past it. At least they went bold. You will not be able to miss this car on track Sunday night, so credit to them for that at least. Josh Bilicki running a throwback to Tom Baldwin Sr. This is pretty neat as well. Again, they went all in. They changed the font. Even the logo looks very retro. They got the name above the door there. That's fantastic. Yeah, I like this a lot. Bright and yellow. That's going to be fun to see on the track. Good job, y'all. Matt DiBenedetto and the Wood Brothers throwing it back to, of course, one of their own past paint schemes. You got Tiny Lund and Marvin Panch's name there above the number on either side. That's cool. A classic look for the Wood Brothers 21. Really cool to see this brought into the modern era. I like it. Well done, y'all. John Nemechek rolling with an Elliott Sadler throwback, apparently. I mean, okay, it's just red. This is a throwback to, okay, I guess Sitgard is affiliated with Citgo, and Citgo was on Elliott Sadler's car his rookie season in the Cup Series. Okay. This was not that exciting. I'm sorry, Citgo and Citgard. I'm not that excited about your company that I'm going to let you just put a blank red paint scheme on the track and call it a throwback. I mean, I guess technically it is. They changed the font at least. I like it when they changed the font. At least they did that. But yeah, this one's, I'm just going to move on from this one. All right, we're nearing the end, but we got to look at these Hendrick Motorsports cars. Now, these Hendrick Motorsports paint schemes all follow a similar and fairly predictable theme, and I have talked about these on Out of the Groove already, so I have seen all these. That doesn't make them any less beautiful to see the second time. Chase Elliott running a throwback to Jimmy Johnson's 2009 and fourth NASCAR, then Sprint Cup Series championship. This looks great. The blue Napa logo matches the blue lows. I love that they even have the neon yellow number on the side. I mean, this thing looks great. It's true to the original, and I love it. William Byron is also running a Jimmy Johnson throwback. He's running a throwback to Johnson's 2013 All-Star Race win car. This one matches the sponsor really well. Of course, Jimmy Johnson ran kind of a patriotic-looking Lowe's car in 2013 for that race. Liberty, it's in the name, Liberty. Of course, red, white, and blue colors for them, and this looks great. Again, very true to the original, and credit again in this case for kind of matching the current sponsor. It's not Lowe's on the hood, but it's another company that matches these colors really well. So this one looks solid. And then maybe my favorite of the group here, Alex Bowman throwing it back to Jimmy Johnson's first championship year, 2006. This car is great. The actual 48 car, the Lowe's car from that year, is one of my favorite Jimmy Johnson schemes. It's kind of the first scheme I think of when I think of Jimmy Johnson, his history, his career. And this one looks fantastic. Again, they got the neon yellow numbers. I love the black. I love the yellow glow trim and the, again, very much true to form. Beautiful work, Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, this is Jimmy Johnson's final full-time season in the Cup Series. You knew they were going to pull out all the stops to celebrate his legacy, and they spared no expenses. These look fantastic. Then, of course, we have to look at the man himself. This has got to be one of the boldest throwback schemes in the history of NASCAR doing throwback schemes. He's honoring the past 7-time champions. You've got the Richard Petty, 43 blue and red, and you've got the Richard Petty font on the top, the hood, and the top of the car. And then around the sides, he's got the black and silver with the forward slanting numbers 48 font of Dale Earnhardt Sr., two of the greatest and most iconic figures figures in NASCAR history. The car looks stitched together. Obviously, the colors don't match. The font is different depending on what angle you look at the car from, but that doesn't make it any less awesome. Sure, it's a mess. Sure, like I called it earlier, it's a Frankenstein's monster sort of a paint scheme here, but I absolutely love it. I have to admit, I pre-ordered the diecast for this car because this thing is just, it's just that crazy. It's bold. I'm excited to see what it looks like in person because all the renderings and stuff, it's a sight to behold. This is a tough one to beat, y'all. This one's good. Gosh, this is a good year for throwback schemes. Brennan Poole, oh, again, with the font and the number matches. I love this. Throwing it back to the fantastic Ricky Rudd, whose nickname was the Rooster. And this is perfect because Brennan Poole's sponsor is Red, or at least that's the acronym, R-E-D, Red. Matches the red paint scheme, Red Rooster, nickname for Ricky Rudd. This is perfect. Again, excellent choice with the theming, and the number font on the side matches beautifully. This is fantastic. This is an underrated one, I think. One that isn't getting enough press, but I love it. Well done. Absolutely classic. Oh my, Timmy Hill! Timmy Hill! What are y'all doing? It's even got the flames on it. A throwback to an iconic Phil Parsons paint scheme. Again, excellent work. Fantastic job. What else can I say about it? I mean, it nailed it. And do not sleep on the smaller teams. They come out swinging for these throwback weekends. This is fantastic. This one shot up my list pretty far. Well done, y'all. Gosh, we are going out on a high note. I think we have one final one. All right, here we go. Kyle Busch throwing it back to Elliott Sadler, I believe, correct? Yeah, I was gonna say, I know that scheme. Yeah, this was the first year M&M's was on the hood, apparently, 2004. I mean, it looks good. It doesn't look that different from a modern M&M scheme for Kyle Busch, but as has been the case with so many of these paint schemes we've looked at here today, the fact that they changed the font on the roof and on the door sells it for me. The 8 seems to match the 38, which we saw run the M&M scheme for several years. Credit to them for changing. I mean, other than that, like I said, it looks kind of like your average M&M scheme. A few differences here and there, but I like that. So small details like that really make the throwback scheme for me. This is a pretty cool one. Of course, M&M's been a huge sponsor for Joe Gibbs Racing for many years now, so if anyone deserves to have a throwback scheme to themselves, I guess M&M's can have it. Maybe I'm just in a good mood today, but I feel like 2020 might, collectively speaking, have had the best year of throwback schemes since we started doing this thing. How long have we been doing the throwback weekend at Darlington? Since like 2016 or so, right? Something like that. And there have been some really good individual schemes here and there, but I feel like as a whole, the field outdid themselves this year. So let me give you guys, we'll start with my least favorite, because there really weren't that many here that I didn't like. I didn't like Eric Jones's, not because it doesn't look cool. I think it'll actually look pretty good on the track, but it's supposed to be a Tony Stewart throwback, and I'm sorry, if I see a red number 20, like when I look at this, I don't think Tony Stewart. I mean, I don't recall Tony Stewart driving many red cars during his Joe Gibbs Racing era, so it just doesn't really work as a Tony Stewart throwback, but it still looks cool as just a paint scheme, I guess, so I don't hate it. I also didn't really like the John Hunter Nemechek throwback. I mean, it's just basically a red car, and there's not really much of a story behind it other than, oh, we used to sponsor this guy 20 years ago, let's run a red car again this year. It's just kind of boring. Not really any others I dislike. I mean, the Daniel Suarez, Christopher Bell throwing it back to themselves from just a few years ago, I think is kind of silly, but the cars still look fine, so I don't hate it. Really not many schemes this year that I think just whiffed, just missed, so well done, you guys. Let's move on to my favorites, because this one's a little harder. Again, I love the Busch Beer throwback. I love the throwback to the old logo with the Busch Series kind of tie into it, and the car just looks beautiful. I have a feeling that's going to really look great on the racetrack, so I'm excited to see that one. Gosh, I'm scrolling through here again. The J.J. Yaley Nerf Kenny Irwin Jr. throwback is, I mean, it's kind of ugly. Let's not kid ourselves. It's kind of ugly, but it's ugly in the best way possible. So I love it. It's definitely my top 5. Beyond that, I love the Ross Chastain throwback to the old Dale Sr. car. That looks super clean, super slick. And then all the Jimmy Johnson throwbacks look good as well, especially Alex Bowman's, his 88 car, the throwback to the 06 Lowe's car. Fantastic. I gotta say, guys, my favorite, though, of the bunch, of all the schemes, it's Jimmy Johnson's hodgepodge of a 7-time champion mess. I mean, it's, like I said earlier, it doesn't really work, but it's still great. I can't explain it. It's just, I don't know if we'll ever see another paint scheme quite like this one, to be honest. I'm excited for maybe in like 10 years or something, someone will drive a Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, and Jimmy Johnson throwback, and all 3 schemes are like mishmashed all over the car. I'm excited to see that, but until we see that, this one takes the cake. Like I said, it's bold, and I love it. So I'm excited to see this one hit the track. I hope Jimmy wins in this car. Oh my gosh, I will die. I'm not even a big Jimmy Johnson fan, but that would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, gosh, I'm scrolling through. There's so many good ones I feel like I need to give honorable mentions to, but we only have so much time. I'm losing my voice. I haven't even looked at the Xfinity Series paint schemes. I'll just flash some of them up on screen. Some of these look fantastic. Look at Justin Allgaier's. Looks absolutely fantastic. Harrison Burton. Oh my, he's throwing it back to his dad. Another Jeff Burton. This is fantastic. Good Lord. Oreo is back in NASCAR. I mean, what? My guy Ryan Vargas is running a Jimmy Johnson throwback scheme. Briscoe with the Tony Stewart throwback. That just looks, oh, look at that. God, this year is so good for throwbacks. This is the best year. 2020 is the best year for NASCAR throwbacks. Something good had to happen in 2020, and I think we finally found it. If nothing else, we'll remember 2020 for the amazing throwback weekend at Darlington. But there you have it. There's so many good ones this year, guys. Let me know which was your favorite. Let me know if you hated any of these. I'm sure there's some in here that not everyone's gonna like. So let me know which one you like the least. Of course, let me know your favorites. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you had fun following along, and I hope you enjoyed the throwback weekend, the Xfinity race, the Cup race. It's gonna be fantastic this weekend, I'm sure. I still have to upload my full 2020 NASCAR Cup Series playoff grid. I'm gonna predict every single round, tell you who my champion is, all that stuff. That's coming out very, very soon. But thank you all for watching this video. Subscribe if you are new, and of course, a big thank you to these fantastic Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your tremendous support. Goodness me, I'm exhausted. I mean, look at all these schemes. They nearly knocked me out of my seat a couple of times. So I'm really excited for this weekend's race. I think it's just gonna be a beautiful one. I just think cars are gonna look great in a pack together. I'm honestly excited for it. I will see you all again very, very soon. Take care, you guys.